It's like another dimension.
Way more activity than my normal classes.
We have 3 hours in this classroom and they fly.
I can problem solve way better coming out of this course than when I started.
I've always wanted to blog, but I never really thought I could actually do it. I loved it.
It's not boring.
The Futures Forum class is one initiative from the Digital Learning Strategy in the Waterloo Region District School Board. It involves grade 10 students, teachers, and administrators enrolled in English, civics, and careers courses. The Futures Forum class is an inquiry-based, cross-curricular, project-oriented approach to learning.
We can't be complacent. We need to keep moving forward, and we need to engage students where they are now. And that's in the digital world, contemporary learning skills and competencies.
They can explore their interests within the parameters of the curriculum and become independent learners.
Our system success plan is focused on sound instructional practices. It's focused on learning cycle, use of assessment for learning. It's focused on instructional leadership, and that's embodied in the Futures Forum classroom. So it really is reinforcing the kinds of learning that we want to have for our staff and our students across the system.
It runs over 2 periods as opposed to 1, and so we're doing a blended learning model. We've thrown a bunch of technology at the kids and we've encouraged them to bring their own tech and be involved in the Wi-Fi. In that sense, it's got a different flavor.
We get to work over the internet, interact with teachers and other students from around the board, have book talks, discuss the book and learn through it. And I found that really, really interesting and appealing to me because instead of just sitting down with a group of people around me, I get to interact with people I've never really met or talked to, and we can have these discussions and we are connected through it.
The Futures Forum project is not one teacher teaching a classroom, it's 12 high schools, all with a Futures Forum classroom, and those teachers collaborating and making sure that they're together and producing the same things. I love book club as an example because you have one book being studied by multiple kids across multiple schools, facilitated by one teacher at one school, and then other kids by the other teachers, and so they're connecting. So unusual in all sorts of facets, but most of all the collaboration, I think.
A Futures Forum classroom at the beginning of the semester will probably look a lot like a regular classroom. The teacher's modeling and giving instruction, but it's quickly changing over to student independence and student ownership. And it's about making them independent learners because they want to pursue their passions. If you walk in mid-year or towards the end of the year, you'll see students working more independently. And the teacher's going around acting as a coach, a co-learner, asking probing questions, getting students to think about what they're doing and getting them to go deeper. And sometimes the teacher is a student. The students will teach the teacher about what they've learned about so far in their course.
Giving power to the students, feel that ownership for their own learning has been a huge revolution for me as an educator.
We need to be learning an entirely different way because back then we didn't have computers. Now we do.
Technology allows me to create real things. I'm not just creating a project for the teacher, but I can create a blog. Now, it's not just for the teacher now, that's for the world. Real world authentic projects.
Teachers have reported to us that these students had never been engaging in the class before, and now with the opportunity to use blogging, for example, that they are more engaged, and students that never had a voice in the class, those quiet ones that sat at the back, that they're now engaging and they have a voice.
And one of the hugest revelations that any of these kids has is when they get someone who isn't in the classroom commenting on the work that they're doing. And then even more significant, someone who's not in education. So someone who isn't a teacher or someone who isn't a student, who found their blog through Google. And that's incredible. It gives them such a great sense of self-worth.
When we look at the work of a student in a blog to begin with, and they write very little at the start of the course, and then we've reflected and we've looked at their work later in the course, and they're writing a lot.
And the quality of thinking that's gone on behind the writing. It's not just free-form prose, it's prose that has purpose. It's a narrative that is quite compelling and quite sophisticated in its composition.
The technology, like being able to go and access like an infinite amount of information on the internet that you normally don't have access to with just a textbook or something. So you can learn a lot more, I find, with all the technology that we have access to.
I think what we've seen in Futures Forum is that they have come to learn to use the students as the resource in the technology, and if they run into difficulty using a blog, well, there's someone in the classroom that knows how to do that.
It's given us a better connection to the classroom. The convenience of being able to observe that learning remotely, mind you, but observe it in a meaningful way. Not just come look at the posters my students have created, but being able to watch the learning process, being able to tap into a blog, see what a Twitter feed looks like from a classroom. And by monitoring some of that, just that little check-in that we all as administrators aspire to have for all of our classes, it gives it to me in a way that I can reach anytime, anywhere.
Our goal in the Waterloo Region District School Board is to have students improve their ability to communicate their thinking and writing. So it's not about technology, it's about the central goal that we're focused on as a system. And the Futures Forum classroom is providing us with another opportunity, another way to help students become effective as communicators and thinkers, and to communicate that thinking in meaningful ways to authentic audiences.